Guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. It is now Thursday night and a couple of nights before we're back in the Premier League. We're playing Brentford, obviously. It's been a long international break, and I hope there's a lot of excitement and positivity and enthusiasm about what's to come. That's why I'm coming to bath time last. I'm going to introduce our special guest today, who's not here, hasn't been seen for a while. We've been wondering what's going on with Stefan, United philosophy, but he's back. He's back just before Premiership break. Maybe he knows something. Maybe he's got something to spill the beans. But Stefan, it's been a while. Welcome back, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I was just literally on a stream on my own channel there, so just trying to get back into it. I'm feeling motivated to get back on the content grind and stuff, and like actually enjoying making it again. So I think that's a good sign. So maybe my positivity towards making videos and content can translate to some positivity on the pitch. Who knows? But we'll find out on Saturday at about 4:30 how that goes.
Yeah. Just quickly, I just want to shout out. I think it's your under-21s won 5-0 the other day, Northern Ireland. Did you catch that result?
Yeah, I actually watched that match. I don't really follow the internationals too much, but I sat down and watched it. It was pretty decent. Like most of the team, or well, certainly some of the better players do tend to be English players with a Northern Irish grandparent or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was Isaac Price scored a hat-trick, and he came through Everton's academy and is playing in Belgium now. So I don't know how we've managed to get him, but he's there. He's scoring goals. So long may that continue, I guess.
I mean, look, I'm really surprised by that. I looked at it. I always thought, oh, come on, Northern Ireland, it's trying to step it up. I know we had Jack Charlton with Republic of Ireland a few years ago, but it wasn't last time. It was maybe 1982, I think, he got to the World Cup. But George Best is someone that, I'm thinking if talent like that comes out, he churns out talent like that regular, maybe there's something in it. But you've just said to me, Isaac Price, I'm going to go and Google him after the show. He's the one who banged in a hat-trick in the 5-0 win over the mighty...
Bulgaria.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back. Don't forget, guys, subscribe to United Philosophy. And to your left, or our left, as we're facing the screen, is the beautiful Dora. Any news from the Croatian under-21s youth team or internationals during the break?
Well, it was an international break. Nations League, was on. We've beaten Scotland with a bit of a heart attack moment in the end. Apparently, it was. I felt it throughout the game that Scotland is going to shit house to the draw. But in the end, it didn't happen. We won. It was, I think, they scored in the last minute, but in the end, it was, I think, VAR activated and it was an offside. So I think we won 2-1. It wasn't a great showing from Croatia, honestly. Game of two halves, literally. But I think defense is quite poor, in my opinion, and I think Dalic just needs to go. That's my opinion. Maybe my agenda is coming through.
He's the manager.
Right?
The
manager. Yes. For the first time in our history, we are playing with a 3 at the back. So we are playing 3-5-2, which is a new formation for us, for our national team. So they need to, adapt. Guardiola is playing like that. All of the main players are playing those formations. So he decided to change it up, which isn't a bad idea, but I don't think he knows how to organize his team to play like that. Our defense is shocking. And it was 2 days later, we played Poland in Warsaw. And I wanted to say Warsaw because we say Warsaw, but Warsaw. And it was 3-3 in the end. So it was a very chaotic game. They scored. It was 1-0. I was already, do I really need to watch this shit? Like, it was a very poor defending from one of our players that is playing in the Italian league, Erlich. I think he plays for Sassuolo. I think they're in the second league right now. It doesn't matter. He made a mistake. They scored. And then Borna Sosa, who is playing for Ajax, a wing back, I would say a left wing back, he scored an amazing volley from the corner.
Wow.
It was 1-1. And then all of a sudden, we scored 2 more in 4 minutes. Croatia was already, 3-1 up. in 4 minutes. And I was like, okay, this is the most I saw this team score in years. And then until the end of the half, we concede from the same position, from Martin Ehrlich's side, from the same spot, 3-2 for Croatia. And then in the second half, we concede for 3-3, again, poor defending. And then our goalkeeper, Livakovic, is sent off after very questionable decision, because, I think Lewandowski and him are, he went to the middle of the pitch for the ball. He wanted to sweep it out, and he got the ball. He cleared out the ball, but Lewandowski he knew that he couldn't get to the ball, but he still died for it. And Livakovic kind of, he did, kind of caught him, and he got a red. And it was a whole, discussion of, why VAR didn't activate all those things about the technology and all that. So it was a bit controversial, that game, but it was very entertaining. I stopped watching it in the second half. I couldn't. I was just done with it. But yeah, very exciting international football in the Nations League, I would say. We had some great games. Dutch against Germans. We had Belgium against France. So there were huge games. But yeah, I was a bit, for the first time in a very long time, I don't know, maybe it's me, and maybe I'm a bit disillusioned from football because of United, but I honestly didn't care about the Nations League international break that much.
Yeah, but it looks like you watched the live game 3-3. You had a great summary.
Not whole, but people were talking about it. It was all over the news, and you need to catch it sometime.
There you go. Before we come to comments, going to come to you, Bath time. I mean, do you watch just the 2-minute highlights on YouTube to catch up, to refresh yourself on the international football? And why are you got off it so bad? What's your issue with international football right now?
Okay. I've never really been huge into international football, apart from the Euros and the World Cup, to be honest. I'm a Manchester United man first. And even with my slightly dodgy Spanish history, I don't really, connect with any of the national teams. And at the moment, I'm not really enjoying watching a lot of football, because it's either a very sort of homogenous approach to football where everyone is doing the same things, except for United. So every team I watch, I see them better organised and with this sort of style of play and things. So instead of that, I bought tickets to see Smile 2 this weekend. Have you seen the first one?
I've seen Smile 1. I went with my girlfriend to watch Smile 1 in the cinema, and I thought, oh, God,
do you know, I had one problem with it.
What's that?
Well, I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's essentially a remake of The Ring. In my view, it's about sort of how personal tragedy sort of sticks to you, and it's actually a decent horror film. But what annoys me about horror films is that they never go on the attack, because when you're growing up, obviously you read and you watch kids literature, and one of the key things in children's literature, from Harry Potter to the Monster Squad, is that in order to sort of get a place in the world and to break and to get your own sort of autonomy as a child, you fight the monsters. And what really annoys me about modern day horror is at no point do we see someone go, right, let's have it, and fight the smile monster. Go and really smack it up. And that's what I want.
There's a funny scene, because we always say in the movies, the black guy always dies first. This is just a joke, Comedians on stand-up always say that. But there was a funny scene. I just always watch it for a belly laugh. When Jason, do you remember Jason from Halloween, is it? One of the guys decides to fight him. A black guy decides to fight him on the rooftop and said, right, let's have it. And do you remember this? You're laughing at this, Steph. Do you remember? And they're boxing. And he boxes.
Yeah.
He gets so tired. And he's like, God damn, all right, give me one shot. And that one shot, head knocks his head off and into a bin. So don't fight the bad guy. Don't fight the final boss, because you end up like that guy from Jason. Is it worth watching?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I think it will be. It's this time it's about a pop star who's sort of infected. Okay. I quite like Smile. But what I'd like to know, Dora, is that in the UK, we've got this long tradition of kind of localized horror films like The Wicker Man or Leprechaun. In Croatia, is there like sort of any famous film franchise about a chicken that's also a bear or something? Bear chicken.
What do you, so you're trying to? Are we doing our own horror movies or what? Our franchises? Are you asking
in Croatia.
about that?
Yeah.
Let's see. Look, Croatian cinematography is so weird because, for example, if you look at Balkan, Bosnians and Serbians are the funniest by far, and I think that they are superior to our cinematography, and I'm not ashamed to say they truly are. Danis Stanovic winning Oscar for Ničija zemlja a few 10-15 years ago, which was huge. He's a Bosnian director. Our problem is that we are stuck in the 90s. The best movies that we had were either in Yugoslavia, only produced by Croatian directors, or war movies with a bit of a satire, which are made at the end of the 90s. They are gems, but those movies are either erotic dramas or they are very heavy. And I don't think we can make something as ridiculous. There were some, I think there is on Netflix, I don't know if you have it on in UK, the last Serbian in Croatia, it's like a horror movie, a satiric horror movie, which was kind of, I couldn't watch it till the end. I thought it was a bit cringe. But a lot of people liked it, and yeah, there is only one guy that is actually capable of doing something like that. Director Vinko Brešan. He probably made some of the more iconic movies in the last 10 years, but our cinematography just sucks, in honesty. And I know it's harsh. There are gems, but we are just too miserable sometimes. And I think there needs to be directors and people who are going to, come up and say, look, shut up, Belal. Shut up. That are going to make some movies that are not that miserable. I'm just waiting for someone to say, you know what, just make some, coming of age movies, something like that, or more satiric, more comedy movies. Like, we can do it. Come on, guys. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. We don't have franchises, bad time, and please don't research it. We won't find anything.
I've heard of a Serbian film. Apparently, it's horrible.
Guys, I am chairing this meeting. Let's move off.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got Dave 147. How you doing, man? Do you play snooker, Dave? 147. He's saying here, what the F? I thought this was a football channel. It is, but we're just trying to talk. We've tried to fill the gap for the last 2 weeks, and we just have a little convo. We haven't seen Stefan for ages. United philosophy, and Dora obviously is good for it when it comes to having a crackle and a laugh. All right, some comments here. Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? Bath time, busy bee today. He's saying there. Damien Walsh, Drayton Manor, rerun things. He's saying good evening, everyone. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much, Jeff. Andrew's in the house as well. He's saying hi to everyone on the panel. And Mr. B is in the house as well. Look at that is that AI picture? You get these AI, people making a lot of AI pictures these days. Looks AI. That's
Mr. B.
So what's he doing?
Yeah, this looks professional.
He's just angry about something.
All right. It's like,
because he's got to do a thumbnail. He's livid.
All right. Big up to Simon Warner. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Tyron's in the house as well. Tyron had an appearance this week. Hopefully we'll see him again next week. Andrew, we're talking here. Dora, sorry to rub it in, but do you remember when I digged out our Croatia before the Euros? I don't know. Talking when we were talking, this is a while ago, about 5-10 minutes ago. Let's go to the horror movie comments if we can. You want them. You want them. Andrew Williams saying Darius recommends watching film The Brutalist.
Another movie where Adrian Brody is a Holocaust survivor and is Jewish once again, like pianist. Sorry, I know it's a good movie, but once again, the same role.
Okay. Definitely saying our title today was Stand By Your Man, and obviously that's a famous hit by Dolly Parton and Tammy Wynette. We've got Stephanie saying here, you missed my Dennis Law comment on Physics Channel. Yeah. I didn't see that. Sorry. Speaking of horror movies, Saw series was pretty good, says Tyrone. Friday the 13th, Jason Takes on Manhattan. That's the film where they're fighting on the rooftop, and Stefan definitely watched that. And obviously, want to welcome Dave 147. I know we're getting on with it now, so hopefully we hear from you. You haven't disappeared. The Exorcism coming out in cinemas soon, no doubt in Croatia. Pronounce that for me.
Slasher movie incoming, Dora. Yes.
The Haunted of Beta Croatia and Bosnia and Montenegro, says Damien Walsh as well. And Stephanie's doing her thing. Oh, here's a good one. Anatovich horror. Yes. The Hills Are Alive. The Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And all right, I see it on the video in the wood. All right, you can read them, guys. There they are. Anyway, let's go. All right, we did a show yesterday, and those who watched it live, we had a great guest on talking about Brentford. He's got a big association with Brentford as well. We're still going to talk about Brentford because the game coming up. Do you want to do some sort of gossip first, guys? Yeah, I'm the chair. I decide. All right, let's do some gossip. Here's the first one related to Man United. New Trafford, not Old Trafford. It's New Trafford. That's an AI picture there. It's not real, obviously.
Because it's not raining.
Yeah, it's not raining clouds and comets flying over as well. But it looks impressive, doesn't it? So here's the news. Manchester United intend to submit plans for a new 100,000-seater stadium by the end of the year. So not by the end of the year, we'll be submitting plans for it. Early estimations suggest a new rebuild will cost around $2 billion, which with roughly 3 years needed to complete the project. So 2028, that's the year they predict we're going to win the title, would be the earliest date. That's from the Manchester Evening News. Look, they're saying they're just going to build on the site where we are now, presently. That's been a debate about that. But yeah, it's exciting. 100,000 people in Old Trafford. Will we fill the stadium? Will tickets go up? I mean, what do we think about this? Because obviously, do we all agree, though, we need a new stadium, Bath?
Not for, well, yes, but not for me. I think that going to, someone help me out with this. Is it the Sophie Stadium? One of the stadiums we went to on the American tour. Stefan, do you know the one I mean? SoFi?
SoFi, I think it's SoFi, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best stadium in the world. Nice, Dave. And I think from the moment that we went to that stadium, we were always going to move to a new stadium. Personally, I'd love to stay at Old Trafford, but it's probably, that's a good one, Andrew. Sorry, I'm distracted. Personally, I'd love to stay at Old Trafford, but I think it's also absolutely wild that they think that they can build that in 3 years. Like, I remember when Spurs built their stadium, I think, was it a year and a half late because there was some snow at one point and things? Where are we going to play? Like, whilst all this is going on? Like, I assume the construction is going to be in that big sort of like Eurofleet car park around the corner from Old Trafford. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah, like, I mean, where's the money going to come from? If Ten Hag still going to be here? What division are we going to be in? I think it's wildly optimistic to say 2028. I think 2031, to be honest, 2030 is probably more likely. But we definitely need a new stadium. But I love Old Trafford, and I wish there was some way that we could stay at Old Trafford for our history and our sort of collective culture of United fans.
Stefan, I think you probably, out of everyone on the panel, has been to Old Trafford more recently than anyone else. Have you been there recently? What are your thoughts? And obviously, this new stadium, would you get a season ticket or at least applying for it?
I was at Old Trafford. I think the last match that we seen was Chelsea last season, and we've got a couple of matches this season. We're going to Ipswich and Arsenal, so yeah, I'll be there a couple of times this season. Whenever we were sitting talking there, like I remember we brought this up because obviously this has been a long running conversation, and I think me and Bath Time might have got onto the ship of Theseus over this at one point. to bring the old philosophy in, but it's kind of it. I think it's needed. I think leaving Old Trafford would be very sad because like that is the stadium where we've always been. But again, if it's Old Trafford in the same location, does it just carry on the same stadium? It's not the original stadium. It's not even the same stadium from the 1980s and the 90s. So much has changed in that time as well. With the stands being redeveloped and everything. So I'm pretty open-minded about it. I think it's something that maybe will help us long term. I think it's probably needed long term, but I think 2020 it's very, very optimistic. That's without any issues at all for funding or building, any delays, any planning permissions, whatever. Unless a lot of work has been done in the background, which I assume it probably has been at this point. I would assume that was probably on the big meeting that everybody had last week that we all thought Ten Hag might have got sacked at. But yeah, I'm pretty open-minded about it. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, it'd be an interesting end to the year with it. And it does look like it's probably going to happen.
Good stuff. Dora, I mean, you haven't been to Old Trafford, but you are the biggest supporter in Croatia. You've got the Croatian fan club going and everything like that. But how do you feel about this? I mean, we've heard the rumours about leaking, roof is leaking, rats in the kitchen. There's a rat in my kitchen. All kinds of things going on. But yeah, do you think it's essential that we get this done? And how realistic do you think this report is?
I mean, you could sit here. I could sit here and say, you know what, why are they building a new stadium? Maybe they need to, invest, repair some of the things that are, for example, the roof and all that. But yeah, I think we are going to that direction. I'm same as bad time. I think I said it. I think we discussed it months ago on this channel. I said that, I think that Old Trafford is a national treasure, not just for Manchester United fans, but for England as a whole, English football. It's iconic, and all that. But, in the end, sometimes even, the most, I would say, iconic things, they need to be in some ways changed, or we need to relocate. I don't know. I know that we need a new stadium. I think this one is, you guys have been there. I mean, it's ran down, it's old, Glazers didn't do anything to actually make sure that it's not African ruin. But personally, if I have to choose, I would probably, say, let's say at Old Trafford, try to repair it, but I don't think that's an option. And also, I am afraid if INEOS in the end decides, okay, a new stadium is a lot of money, we will invest in it, we will repair all of it. I am afraid that we are going to get to the point of, for example, Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia, the best Croatian club. It has the ugliest stadium in Europe. It's disgusting because they didn't. No, but hear me out. They didn't, they only invested. They added, few stands. They added this. They just added stuff for the sake of it. They didn't actually, said, okay, we are going to get rid of this. We are going to build a new thing. And they are now, thinking about finally building a new stadium. And it looks like absolute, like, do you know the monuments in Yugoslavia? You know that kind of build, like this is far worse. This looks absolutely disgusting. And, I don't want us to see, people investing in Old Trafford and, with investing in it, making the stadium more uglier. Of course, they are probably more smarter than these lot in Zagreb, but you get where I'm coming from. I think it is time, and I think that we are in the era where the new owners and everything else, we are just going to, and with a huge fan base and with everything, with the sponsorships, I think it's inevitable to see new stadium on the horizon.
I just hope it's not a goal.
Sorry, go on, half time, yeah.
Like Dora's talking about, it reminds me of some neighbours I used to have who just went wild with an extension. They didn't plan it out. They just kept putting stuff in.
Yeah.
But the thing, one of the things that worries me is that I hate this kind of like ashtray bowl design. Do you know what? It's obviously the best shape for a stadium. It gets the most people in. But I'd really like a stadium that feels like a football stadium and not a spaceship.
I just want to add, I actually agree. I think one of the biggest charms of the Premier League and English football is your stadiums. Are your stadiums, right? Remember Highbury before Emirates, like, you know, the stands are, you know, near the pitch, you know, everyone, it's like Theatre of Dreams, it's called, right? It's like a theater, but people, you know, it's amazing, right? Everyone is near the pitch. The stadiums aren't, you know, this huge, like you said, you know.
Like in Italy.
Yes,
where they've got the running tracks. It's like, think about, is it the Luton Stadium where you go through some council houses to get into the away end? Brilliant.
Yeah. I think it's part of the charm, you know, having these kinds of stadiums, you know, old school stadiums. And I know, you know, new era, we need to move on and all that, but, you know, it's kind of losing a charm. And I think it reminds us how football became commercialized in the last 20, 30 years, right? Because, and I know it sounds very traditional, very old school, but, you know, part of it, like, where can you find these kind of stadiums? You can only find it in, you know, Great Britain, right? You know, stadiums like that. You can never find it anywhere else. And I think that's my also one of the issues why I am, you know, kind of against the new stadium, you know. But yeah, we will see. Maybe they are smart. Maybe they hire smart designers. Maybe we don't have a toilet bowl instead of Old Trafford. But we will see.
There's more to it as well. So like but there's a couple of things that really put me off about the new stadium, and one is that the costs are going to get passed on to match going fans. And once again, like, so Dora, you were talking about you know, football stadiums from the 80s and things. But help me out here. After Hillsborough, there was a report. I think it might have been called the Taylor Report, and it was a move. It felt like a move to criminalise football fans, to be honest, from what I've read. And yesterday in Parliament, they've put in a private bill has gone in where you're going to get, like, they're trying to give banning orders to people that are caught jibbing. And so jibbing is like sort of scamming your way in without a ticket and things. It's a very long tradition at Manchester United and so on. Like, if you think about what happened in the Euros final at Wembley, where about 20,000 people got in, that's jibbing, and it's a very important part of British culture. And I really worry that moving to the new stadium is going to be a kind of cultural reset for Manchester United fans. That, for example, in the South Stand, or the Sir Bobby Charlton stand now, that's where my family used to have their season ticket. And in the sort of late 90s, when United began to get more and more successful, they made a real effort to try and clear out some season ticket holders, and that particular, as Stuart will tell you, that particular side of Old Trafford has a lot of older fans in it. Like, it's, you know, the age there is noticeably higher. And I really worry that a move to a new stadium is going to be seen as an opportunity to clean out the United fans, get more day trippers in. And I'm really worried about how it's all going to change the culture. So even though the stadium is a hulking mess, it's riddled with a culture that I worry won't translate across to a big sort of bowl stadium, and that's one of my huge concerns.
Stefan, do you want to add to that? Because we're kind of passionate about this topic. I thought this topic would last for 2 minutes, but it seems like it's a big deal for a lot of us fans.
Yeah, no, definitely. Even just from like looking online and stuff and talking to people as well, it feels like the club's been going this way for quite a while. I think they've made it really hard to like transfer your ticket to somebody. So if you can't make a match, it's very difficult to give it to a friend or something who might be able to go. The season on season, the average attendance that you have to have is also going up in order to renew your season ticket as well, which obviously probably isn't good for older fans, you know, who might have like I don't know, like health issues or whatever going on, you know, if you can't get to the match on a regular enough basis, and it's not even like half. I think it's something like 13 or 14 home league matches, which is pretty much everything at this point. And it's just going up, and there's separate season tickets for cup matches, or you have to have like different levels and stuff. And then you look online and you see how much they're actually selling tickets individually for the matches. Like those tickets, I think someone had up earlier, it was like the top of the Sir Alex Ferguson stands up, probably be as high as it gets, you know, up in the very, very gods of the stadium. It was like £250 a ticket.
Wow.
And that's kind of like the way it's been going. So yeah, like that side of it's not particularly good, and it's hard to see them reversing that. I don't think it's going to change at that point.
Yeah.
Either, but it should do, but I don't think it will do.
Just quickly, I'm going to throw it out there. Make this very punchy, guys, on the panel. I'm going to name a club and tell me what they did, their strategy to move into a new stadium. So the first one is Barcelona. First person to name what they did. Barcelona playing in another stadium at the moment, aren't they? Well, I've given the answer there, but So talk to us about Barcelona. What are they doing right now with Nou Camp?
Well, but Barcelona, I think it's important to point out that Barcelona see themselves as the national team of Catalonia. And for a very, very long time, they were against shirt sponsorship and things like that because of the horrible mismanagement of their finances. Is it the Spotify stadium at the Nou Camp or something?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make it punchy. Let's make it punchy and move on. Tottenham Hotspur. What did they do when they rebuilt their stadium on top of White Hart Lane?
Wembley.
Where did they play their home?
They played at Wembley. Yeah.
At Wembley, they played their home games at Wembley during that. And how long did that take? Because they've got a great stadium. So we're looking at
a season or 2 seasons.
3 years,
1 or 2 seasons, yeah.
More, yeah.
So
I think so.
They played at Wembley for 3 seasons, yeah?
I think so. How long did they play?
I don't know. Maybe someone in the comments. These are just quick fire questions. I just want the answers, guys. The other, because Tottenham fans, it's in London. Wembley's in North London as well, Northwest London. So it's not that far to travel. So that's ideal for them. Arsenal Football Club, they moved from Highbury. What did they do? How did they organise that with their home?
They're not Highbury down, sold it as flats and moved straight into the Emirates, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, so they built the Emirates while they were still playing at Highbury?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but you know what Arsenal fans complain about? They said they invested so much in the stadium that they, from winning trophies, they put that down to because they built the stadium and they had to move to a new stadium. That's the reason they haven't been winning titles. Because prior to that, at Highbury, they were winning titles. Yeah. They had to sacrifice. Do you think it'd be the same with Man United? This is quick fire again. First one.
No, they got it. Arsenal got it wrong. They thought that gate receipts were what were going to propel the finances in the Premier League. They didn't see the huge bubble coming of television rights, and so they got it wrong. But now I think they make a huge amount of money from their stadiums. So maybe they got it right in the long run.
And last one from me. It hasn't happened yet, but what's the plans for Everton? Because they're looking to move clubs.
They've built a stadium that looks like Tesco's down in Bromley Docks. That's what people call it a Tesco Extra.
Is that right?
It actually does look like a big Tesco.
Right.
I think it looks great, to be honest. But they're going to move straight in, aren't they?
They're moving straight in.
And like, for example, Fulham are doing their stadium and have been for about 3 or 4 years, where they've just closed down like the main stand for matches, so they're running at limited capacity as they build it up.
Oh, there you go. There's a few examples of how other clubs have gone from stadium or built a new stadium or built a stadium on the site of the same stadium they're playing at now. So well done to Tottenham. I think they've done a great job, especially. All right, next story. We just touched on this. Let's do this, guys. Sorry, guys, in the comments. I've put them all up about the stadium. Some really good comments there about the stadium. We went on a long time about that. But here's one for you guys to get all the juices flowing. It's Paul Pogba. He's back in the news. Obviously, he got banned for using performance-enhancing drugs, I believe. and he's coming back in March, so he's all the rage now. But there's been a lot of back and forth. I've seen Paul Scholes and a couple of Man United players talking about him recently. But here's something he said, and he reveals he wanted to leave United in 2019. He says here, I was 27 back then. It didn't work out the way I wanted. I gave my best, but I didn't see the club going upwards. Man City and Liverpool were better than us, and they were improving. Ollie said yes to me leaving, and that he would talk to Ed Woodward. My head was already that I wanted to go, but I came back for pre-season because I wanted to be professional. I spoke to Ed, this Ed Woodward, to try to make the move, but he blocked it. I didn't want to play for United anymore, but I had to be professional. Well done. Mentally, I wasn't there, and then I got injuries. I will tell you something. I never told anybody. The year Jose went and Ollie came, it was my best season at United. But after the last game, I told Ollie and Ed Woodward that I thought it was my last year and I wanted to leave. I gave my best, but I didn't see the club going upwards. This is from the Daily Mail. I don't know if you guys want to throw in any other quotes you've heard last couple of days, because there's been quite a lot come about Pogba recently. Let's talk all things Pogba, guys. What do you think about these comments? I'm going to leave them up. I'm going to come to you first, Stefan. Talk to me about this. How does this make you feel? Does this stir you up?
Not really. I think towards the end of Pogba's time at the club, and certainly that last season, I think the writing was kind of always on the wall. So I think from a certain point, we just sort of expected him to leave on a free, run his deal down, and then move elsewhere. It's just bizarre. It's probably some of the worst business we've ever done. Probably the worst. Letting the guy go for nothing, buying him back for what, 89 million was it? And then letting him go on a free again. So, to the same club. It was so nice we had to do it twice. I don't know, like it was just a mess. Obviously, look, fabulously gifted player, genuinely could have been one of the best midfielders during his time, but for one reason or another, it didn't work out. I don't think it's a revelation to anybody that his head wasn't always at the club, that he did want to go. It was constant from as soon as he signed. You know, it was every summer, Pogba wants to move, Pogba wants to go. A lot of that would have been led by, well, I guess Raiola at the time, but obviously whenever he passed away, it did seem to die down a little bit. But yeah, there's not really much there that I wouldn't have already guessed. I think from memory, he did have a pretty decent season when Ollie did come in. I think goal scoring wise, he maybe got double figures, but yeah, it was frustrating. Like, because he was obviously really, really talented, had all the physical attributes, could genuinely have been anything he wanted to be, but it just never worked out. We never really got the best out of him. He never really fully applied himself maybe in the way that we wanted him or hoped that he might do. And it was one of those deals maybe that it was just better that we didn't go back in for him at the start, and you know, we just moved on to different targets. But that's in the past. I guess I can't really change it too much now.
Laura, how does it make you feel? You're reading the comments. We've gone through this. It's up there. I'm going to keep it up there. But anything you dispute here with what he's saying, or do you think he's just being an AWS?
I mean, saying that he was a professional, I don't think that's like, okay, he was unlucky with injuries, but I feel like he could have done more. He could have, put in more work to play. And, for years, some of the fans, they're still swearing by, we needed to put him near better players like he had at Juventus. He had Marchisio, he had Pirlo. So he, and that all, discourse is, to me, it's absolutely bullshit. I'm not saying that he had amazing players near him, but, he didn't help himself. So, yeah, he had some good moments for us. I will always remember that game against City at their ground. When they wanted to win a league against us, but we beaten them 3-2. Best game from him in a long time. Best game from Alexis Sanchez as well. Herrera masterclass. I will remember some good stuff from him. That first season under Jose Mourinho as well. It was very hype. But yeah, apart from that, like, he will not be banned. I think he's going to come back to play football once again. I wish him all the best, but that experiment of us bringing him back for 90 mil almost, it was a disaster in the end.
Half time, you're going to round us up on this Pogba talk. I've taken it down now, but you understand what's been said. How do you feel about it? Because he's long gone now. He's got nothing else to do with the club, so he's probably speaking his truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his truth is a very good way of putting it, because he's talking about being a professional and things. I still remember, I think it was the eve of the Red Bull game, like literally the day before we played a Champions League game. He came out and said that he wanted to leave, and I didn't think that was particularly professional. I understand that his brother is a very weird person and was blackmailing him.
Mino Raiola, remember that? He was always chirping in the media about him. Always international break. Always.
That's his job. Mino Raiola is like loved by his players and things like that, and you know what you're getting into, like when you sign Mino Raiola client. I felt that Pogba was. I think Andrew said like something that I've said before, which is if you could design a central midfielder, it basically is Paul Pogba. But he talks about being a professional. For me, when he came to the league, it became very apparent very quickly that he couldn't bully Premier League defenders with that big frame the way that he did in Italy. He never really adapted to it. He's spoken about Rooney today, saying that, like, he didn't, that he would never come in dancing and stuff like that. And I watched the Pogba documentary, and there's a hilarious bit in it where they go all slow motion and they're talking about Pogba's leadership and, what a great bloke he is. And there's literally like 8 people in a circle, and he's just in there dancing as if that's the way that he was motivated. And it was such an insight into him. I think that he was just very frivolous and really summed up like the change in mentality and dressing room that happened between like Ferguson, Moyes, Mourinho, and so on. I mean, he's essentially a child, and I'm bored of talking about him. I hope he can go and rediscover his career and things, because on his day, he's one of the best players like in Europe. He was incredible, but I can never warm to him because of how I think he was unprofessional, unfocused, and thought that he was doing the club a favour for him being there.
Okay, guys, in the comments, I'm going to read a couple. Sorry, we have to move on with things, but Patrick, how you doing? It says 100% with Dora. Paul Pogba didn't deliver consistently on the pitch. Whatever his talents didn't maximise the talent that God gave him. United were foolish to not cash in and got what they deserved in the end. Big up to V as well. Pogba was nothing but distraction off the pitch. On the pitch, I believe he could have bullied people on the pitch, but he simply refused to. Andrew saying here, Pogba summed up our decay. He's, I think he's looking at his legacy now at this age, and the disappointment he's had been, labelled.
Do you think that's what it's about?
Yeah, well, he's reflecting, isn't he? He's reflecting and having to go through a lot of stuff. And he's looking back, because he mentioned about his age in the comment there. He said he was 27, meaning he's probably in his prime, and he wants to point fingers as to why he hasn't delivered. That
would have been the year after he won the World Cup as well.
That's right.
I think he would have gone if it hadn't have been for COVID. Was another big thing.
Yeah. Just so a funny one here. Jeff saying here, keep waiting for Pogba to pop up on someone's video, and people are laughing at it. I wasn't going to read that. I shouldn't have read that, by the way. We're not going to get into all that. But yeah, we're going to end it with Pogba. But just overall, because you mentioned the thing about Rooney. I'll just add to this quickly. So he was saying Rooney's accused him of we lost the game maybe to Liverpool, and he's come off the pitch and he was dancing.
No,
Lingard.
No.
What was it?
No, it was that they lost the game at the weekend, and Rooney came in on the Monday, and he walked into the dressing room, and Pogba and Lingard were dancing. So and we've seen it. We've seen them dancing about. Like,
do you believe it? So he's saying, I've heard the interview by Pogba. He's saying, no, it's not true. Because Lingard hasn't come out and confirmed it, but Rooney said it. And Rooney said maybe it's just a time lapse between when it's happened. But he's saying basically, if you lose, you shouldn't be coming in even dancing or doing that stupid thing that you do. And also the second thing, Paul Scholes said something quite damning. I think it's from a few years ago, but it's come up recently because Pogba's all the talking point. He said he needed to be led. You need to be on him at all times. And he said he's a great little player, but putting his studs on the ball and doing a little roll back and all that, that's, you got to play 1-2 touch as a professional, and that doesn't do anything in football, according to Paul Scholes. You know, he said he needs to be have players around where he can lead, where he needs to be led rather than be a leader. Because if he's not led and if you're not on at him, he's going to continue to do that foolishness on the pitch. So that's a mentality thing as well. But anyway, that's Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's been associated with our club for obviously come through the youth ranks. And
have you ever had a player that you've managed or been in your dressing room of that kind of character?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. But thank you. Like it is, because like when you're doing well, these people are fantastic. Like you win a match, they're on a table, like dancing away, and it's really fun and things. But when you get the impression that they don't care and that they don't feel the same pain that you do after a bad result, you trust them less on the pitch, to be perfectly honest. You know that they're not going to be there to help you out. And when I look at that United team, like very fun people in it, like Pogba and Lingard and stuff like that. But I always remember General Matic, trying to instill like something in the dressing room, and they're all off doing a musical. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I can't believe that we let that happen. That we let a bunch of dancing take over our dressing room.
Guys, I want to be punchy because time is ticking away. So let's make this punchy. I've been neglecting the comments, so let's just deal with this one. Andrew's asked a question. If anyone's got a question for the panel, just make sure you put it in. I will try to drop it because I can't go through every comment at the moment. Question for the panel: what do you think of Jack Grealish? I think he's very, very effective footballer, but as a guy, he is a prince of a guy, full of love. People, am I wrong? Anyone want to take that one quickly? Make it punchy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Grealish. I think Andrew's talking about that time where he received a medal and everyone was ignoring some girl and Grealish held the line up. He seems like a really nice man, but I mean, he also got absolutely hammered during COVID and like crashed his car, which I found very disrespectful. But I mean, he's a nice guy. Hasn't murdered anyone. Great.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Guys, before we we haven't even talked about Brentford yet. I'm just going to talk about some news coming out very quickly on this one, guys. New boss, question mark. Who's that playing for Roma?
Vincenzo Montella.
Oh, God, yeah, you can read the text, of course.
I mean...
Yeah. All right, let me just drop this quickly. Guys, just think about what you're going to say because make it punchy. Man United have added Turkey boss Montella to the list of candidates to take over from Ten Hag. The Italian, who turned 50 in June, he's not much older than me, has been in charge of the Turkish national team since September last year. He led Turkey to the quarterfinals of the European Championships in the summer. He's been added to the list with Potter, Southgate, and all these other guys you can think of. What do you think of him as a player? Do you think he'd be a good manager of Man United? Dora, let's start with you, from top to bottom.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I am, I admired Turkey these Euros. I think they played some really good football, but I don't have enough data, I would say, to say, oh my God, he's better than Ten Hag, he's going to succeed. I cannot say it. But I agree with Tyrone in the comments. INEOS are kind of desperate at this moment in time. They're losing, potential managers, and they're just putting everyone on the list. I'm expecting Zlatko Dalic, on the list as well. I mean, World Cup finalist, World Cup semi-finalist, go for it. Why not?
Okay. All right. Stefan, what do you think of Montella as a player? Because I don't think Dora's old enough to remember him. Are you, Dora? No, that's a no. All right,
barely.
As a player, what do you know of him as a manager? His career as a manager, has he got the credentials?
Honestly, no, I don't really know. Like, I'm not going to sit and pretend that I'm like an expert. I remember Turkey playing some pretty entertaining football in the Euros. I was trying to cast my mind back. I think they had a really strange match against Portugal. It's like a really weird own goal. I think Baynder was their goalkeeper, and he like went left for a pass, and the ball went right and it just ended up in the back of the net or something. That's about all I remember, really. But yeah, it just feels like maybe just another name on the short list. I feel like the short list is pretty long at this point. The long list, I
Long
guess
list.
we're gonna
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna have to rename it now, long list. But
Long staff.
I don't know. I really don't know. What the plan is. Genuinely, what we got like 7 matches till the next international break. They're all mostly winnable. So I don't know. Like maybe you could see a change in that one if we have another bad run of form, but it's hard to say. I don't think we really know what the plan is at the minute, and we're just going to find out. Like I guess that's literally all we can do at the minute. It's just guessing.
All right, so Dora's not mentioned him as a player. Stefan's not mentioned him as a player. Hopefully, Bath Time will. What do you know about Montella as a player and a manager?
He was a left-footed centre forward. He played for Roma. He was really good. I think he was a sort of last line attacker, where he was one of those players that would drop into a bit of space, combine, beat an offside trap, and then toe poke it in. He was a fabulous player. As for a manager, I distrust Italian football because they always put their best passer in the number 6 role. That's why Pirlo moved there. That's why you got Jorginho there. And I'm not completely sure that works in the Premier League. You could argue Jorginho, but someone like Sarri, I think, is probably better qualified to manage in the Premier League than Montella. And we saw and Sarri didn't go down well at Chelsea. I think I kind of agree with Stefan that this is I don't use Tinder, but I understand that you can increase the distance on your Tinder matches. And I feel that to increase it to Turkey is quite a step by United.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on, guys, because we've got a show to do, and we're supposed to be touching on the manager. This is about the manager. Here we go. Stand by your man. That was the title of the show. That's why so many of you tuned in. 25 watching right now. Make sure you press the like button if you can do that for us. Stand by your man, like Ruud van Nistelrooy in the photo here. Man United have insisted that Ten Hag was never really close to being sacked during the international break. United have been very keen to be patient and offer Ten Hag time and support. It goes on to say United will sack Ten Hag though if he loses in the next 2 matches. Next 2 matches are Brentford and Fenerbahce, right? If he loses one of those, that's from Romano. So don't be trying to quiz me or trash me about my sources. This is from Romano. Stand by your man. You can see someone standing behind him in a sort of dodgy position, and it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. Do you think this is coming out from the club right now? They said they were never close to sacking him. Obviously, Tuchel's been England manager now, and they want to be patient and give him time and support. But if he loses one of his next 2 games, he's a goner. Dora, let's be punchy because we want to get on to Brentford.
I will be punchy. United Football Club, Manchester United Football Club should stop paying these journalists so they can say, we are not going to sack our manager, but we are going to sack him in next, in the end they sack him. Like, just don't pay these journalists. Like, we know you're lying, lying through your teeth. So maybe we should, save money on those things. But, first sentence, I think that's a lie. I believe that a manager that has 5 meetings every single season, talking about his future, that he is not on the verge of the sack is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think that we are that dumb to believe this. United are very keen to be patient over Ten Hag's time and support. Well, good luck, because we are going to be on a roller coaster. I don't think this is... I think there needs to be a miracle and a 180 degrees turn of Ten Hag and his philosophy for us to work, for his, maybe for him to succeed at the Premier League, because I don't believe that he's suited for the Premier League. And United will sack Ten Hag if the club loses in the next 2 matches. I honestly believe that more. But then again, why didn't we do it this international break? Why are we postponing the inevitable? And I know people are going to say, oh, but we are trying to get candidates. You know, you have Mantella, you have this. Ruud van Nistelrooy is there. There is a high possibility that INEOS wanted to a reassurance if Ten Hag fails again that they are going to appoint Ruud. So why are you wasting time? Just salvage this season as you can and just move on from him and the end. And I honestly don't. And that's me being punchy. That's me being punchy. Or
That's you being punchy.
Yes, that's me.
That's a 12-rounder.
I'm not talking about time. I'm talking about this,
Okay.
This. But yeah, that's me.
Hopefully, Stefan.
I never thought I'd just see Dora just shouting fists at the screen.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Stefan
Punching.
can deliver a knockout punch in Fabio Wardley style fashion. Let us have it, Stefan. Deal with this comment for here from the club, from Romano.
Yeah, of course. I really wish that we didn't have a track record of doing this, but the last two permanent managers we sacked around this time of the season, when they went into a bad run of form into the international break, we kept them for a match or two, and then we sacked them and brought in an interim. First it was Jose. We did the same with Ollie as well, but he probably could or should have went right before the international break, and we brought him back. We got beat 4-1 by Watford, and then we just sacked him anyway. So I mean, the track record's there, the precedent's there. There's a potential interim right there as well in Van Nistelrooy. So I don't know. I really just hope that we have something better planned out than what we've done in the past. But we will see, I guess, after Fenerbahce if Romano's right then after the next two matches. So let's check back in a week's time and then we'll see where we are.
Good one. That's a standing out 8 count, and he's out of here. Very punchy. Now we're coming to bath time. Do you need to see a comment bath time? Are you gonna make it punchy? What do you think about all this? It's back and forth.
I'm just gonna launch a haymaker that's like Deontay Wilder. I'm winding back.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur in the game against us where they won 3-0 created more chances in that game at Old Trafford than we have all season. And and I think that really sums up Erik ten Hag to me. I feel that he is a dead man walking, that we're in a holding pattern. Like we're just waiting for him to do something. And the sooner we get rid of him, to be honest, sooner that the club can move on, because it's just an appointment that hasn't worked out, and it should just be seen as one. And we should just see if we can move on to bigger and better things.
Just look at this image. It looks like Phoenix of the Flames that they used to do in fantasy football. Martin Keown, Ruud van Nistelrooy is playing Martin Keown, and Ten Hag is playing Ruud. And you know what happens next, yeah. Remember that iconic moment? There you go. All right, let's move on from that. Let's talk tactics. We're playing Brentford. I've just brought this up because Brentford in the last game won 5-3. We're talking about Thomas Frank, and he's possibly a potential candidate for the Man United role. And I'm just going to just talk about this quickly. So against Wolves at home, a winnable game, they won 5-3, and this is the formation he had. Maybe it's to do with injuries, I'm not sure. But he's gone 4. Look on the left-hand side. He's gone 4-2-3-1. 5-3 win, well done. Then early in the season, they played Man City, and they've gone to their traditional 5 at the back. And you can't say they got wing backs there, because the guy, number 20, IJ, he's a big centre back. And Lewis Potter, they're out of wing backs at the moment, but they still managed to get performances. And it was a good performance against City as well. So this is a guy who can change formation and still be effective. Let's talk about this. Stefan, I'll come to you first. What do you think about Thomas Frank, what he's done here? This is in the space of 7 games. He's changed formation. Why is he doing it? Is it personnel? Is it just like about the opponent?
I think it's probably more so about the opponent. Like, I don't think it's revolutionary to turn up against City and play 5 at the back, or try to make the game null and keep them out. Against Wolves, they scored 5 goals. It was a crazy match. Van 5-3, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, Brentford have always been a pretty good tactical outfit. They're pretty good in terms of their actual quality as well for what they've actually spent to the quality they get in the pitch. And they'll come to Old Trafford on Saturday. They'll probably sit back. They probably will try to hit us on the break because there will be those spaces in midfield. There will be the pressing issues, and they've caused us problems as well. You know, we only have to go back to what Ten Hag's second match, was it 4-0? Brentford beat us.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's there. I remember we were wearing the green kit that day. So they've done us before. They could do us on Saturday as well, and they're in good goal scoring form. I think I've seen they've scored 3 times more goals than we have this season. Obviously, 5-3 helped, but even without Ivan Toney, they're still making chances. They're still getting opportunities, and they're still scoring goals as well. So I'm sure Brentford will be looking forward to the match. So yeah, like they're going to cause us problems on Saturday. I'm positive of that.
So Stefan, just want to ask you again, how do you think they're playing away against Man United at Old Trafford? How do you think they're going to set up formation wise? Because he usually plays 5 at the back, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think they go 5 at the back or something along those lines. The formation could change. You know, it might be just a low block 4 at the back. It might be 5 at the back. It just depends on how much men they want to commit to going forward and countering against us, which probably going to throw everything at us. It does seem to work quite well. So,
all right, Barth, I'm coming to you because you're the tactics Don Gargan out here. What do you see with this? I mean, what does it tell you about Brentford, and how do you think they're going to set up against us?
What's a Don Gargan?
Means like you're like in Jamaican. It means like you're the boss man. You're the top guy. You know.
Okay.
So it could be a girl Gargan, which means you're good with the girls, or a Don Gargan means like I was watching Goodfellas earlier. So Don, a Godfather, Don Gargan. Means, yeah, you run things when it comes to that subject.
I mean, looking at this, I would say that this is about overloads primarily for both of them. If you look at the Wolves at home, you can see that Aya, he's massive, isn't he? He's playing on the right, and Bueno is on the left, and then that is the other way around against Manchester City. And I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get their 2 like biggest sort of physical overload players on either side. So, you know, Aya would probably have gone up against Ake or Guardiola or someone like that, like for set pieces and so on. But this is both these formations to me are very clearly about overloading certain areas of the pitch. The City away game, you can see that they've concentrated on their rest attack, which is Visa and Mbueno. So those 2 players are going to be tasked with stopping City's back 3 getting the ball into the midfield, and they're also going to be tasked with transitions. Whereas against Wolves, that formation appears to be more one where they're trying to dominate the ball as well as having like 2 outlets on either side. I disagree with Stefan. I think that they might go for a 4-2-3-1 against us with our midfield issues and the fact that I think that there's such obvious physical overloads there with Norgard, Janel, and Damsgaard against our midfield. But Mbueno is who I'm always scared of. I think he's a great player.
Mbueno's definitely going to be on the right as well, because I think we're playing Johnny Evans at left back.
Yeah.
As a side note, so I think that's probably where he's going to play.
I think he's our best. I think he'll do a lot better than people think against Mbueno, Johnny Evans. He's a proper defender, and if I see Lisandro Martinez out at left back trying to do with Mbueno, I don't know what I'm going to do because he's going to get absolutely done, all heads up. But we got to be careful. I'm really worried about Aya because our team lacks headers, and I think that they're going to be looking at him for set pieces. And if Ugarte plays, if Casemiro plays, we know that those boys are not. They seem for some reason to lack the basics of how you close down and tackle a player. and give fouls away non-stop. So I'm worried about Aya.
Okay, Dora, over to you. So we've got 2 formations here, 2 different games, one home, one away, both good results or good performances in both games. And also as well, I'm not too familiar with a lot of their players. I don't know if you are, but just talk to us about the tactics and why he's changed. And also just talk about any player that you just want to pull up, just to have a discussion about, because we are playing them on set, just, 48 hours?
A lot of them are, as you can see, Scandinavian, Denmark, from Norway. Like, they have some solid players, and I'm seeing that people are saying Visa is probably out for the game, which is a huge plus for us, because he's a very fast physical player that can just explode and accelerate and be in a seconds in front of your own goal. And I think that's a good thing for us that he's out. Even before you guys said, when you asked the first question, I believe that Brentford is going to be 4-3-1 against us, not just because I think everything that what the bedtime said, or something like that. I just believe that in these kinds of situations where or formations with 4 at the back, it's obvious that these kinds of teams, when they are playing against us, especially in the last 2 seasons, they're always having more possession. And if they don't have more possession, they have easier. They are coming out of their half easier, right? The counterattack thing, right? So you have Mboemo, obviously. If they don't have Visa, they're probably going to have other players. I believe Luis Potter is a good fast player. Damsgaard seems like a more technical player as well, and Shade is your. I'm not sure, but I think he's more of a number 9, as you can see here, than probably Visa and Mboemo. So they are probably going to try to get us, from possession, because our possession in the last few games or the last few weeks has been very shaky. Even against Twente, we were, letting the ball go, and we were all behind the ball and waiting for them to make a mistake. So I believe that Brentford is going to have more possession, hence why they are going to play with 4 at back or 4-2-3-1, which is kind of depressing in my opinion. But maybe we get them on the counters once again. And maybe Ten Hag, pulls something out of his ass and, sees, okay, my midfield is awful. I have absentees, I have injuries. Maybe he changes it up, and we will see. But I believe that we are going to see 4-2-3-1 definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Guys in the comments, quickly, they're coming through. Any more questions, just ask them soon, because we're going to be shutting down very soon. It's been a great show, no doubt about it.
What do you think, Yabba?
About the formation, I think it's really interesting that he changed it up, because a lot of managers, like our manager, for example, you rarely see him change formation. So to do that, you have to have players that are used to it. So I think they're used to playing 5 at the back. That's their standard thing. But due to personnel change and injuries and not having any fullbacks, they've changed it. They've gone to a different formation. And to do that, it's kind of hard, but to be effective, And we would make excuses for, do you remember when we played Red Bull in the Champions League under Ole a couple of seasons ago? We went to 5 at the back, and we were shocked. We got defeated quite badly, and we were knocked out because, and we blame the change. But players should be able to adapt. And I think if you're training professionally, you should be able to do different formations and change it, because you might want to change it during the game, or you might be change it specifically against an opposition. This is where I think good management comes in. You have to be a bit more flexible in that respect and be able to change things up. I'm managing at the moment. Sometimes I have to change formation because people don't turn up, and do you know what I'm saying? And you want people to get used to it. Traditionally, I don't know how you feel about this, Stefan, but playing football, and traditionally everyone knows how to play 4-4-2. 2 strikers, 2 wingers, 2 centre midfielders, that kind of thing. But today, like even at the level like we play at Sunday League, everyone's we should play 4-3-3. And you soon realise they don't understand how to play the position. Do you understand what I'm saying? They know 4-4-2, but a lot of people don't understand how to play 4-3-3, or they don't understand how to play 3-5-2, and where they need to be at the right time, what their job is, and what they're supposed to do. And this is
I don't know how to play 4-4-2.
You don't have to play. That's the most.
No. Yeah, I know. I don't know what my job would be in midfield in 4-4-2.
Okay. All right, Simon Warner, we're going to wrap it up now. Says, brilliant stream. Can't wait for the next one. Have a good night and a better Friday. We will be back on Friday. That's tomorrow. I don't know if any of you two enjoy joining us, Dora or Stefan. But Stefan, before we go, you're back on the scene. Return of the Mac. Your channel's up and running again. Let us know where we can find you for those who haven't followed you as yet.
Yeah, of course. So it's United Philosophy on YouTube. At the minute, I've had a little bit of a break for like about 2.5 weeks, but I'm looking to get back into it now. I've enjoyed tonight doing the show here, doing my own show. So I'll be live probably on Saturday with a post-match reaction if anyone wants to join in there. Hopefully it won't be a group therapy session. Hopefully we can actually have something to cheer about and something to celebrate. And then I'll probably do something again on Sunday as well. Just to see if anything interesting happens. I don't know. Like if we lose 5-0, he might get sacked on Sunday. Who knows? But no, I'll not speak it into existence. I'll be positive. We're gonna win on Sunday. Sorry, Saturday. We're gonna win on Saturday.
I don't know if you know, Stefan, because you've been away for a while, but there's a joke made here. Santa Notch, who's been on our show, he's part of Stretford Paddock as well. Did everyone remember Santa Notch? The guy with a beard, white beard, and
Mr. B.
Funny. Not that's not Mr. B. And he's used Santa Notch with Lacazette to say Lakanotch, which means good night in Croatian. Have you said that before in the show yet, Stefan? Lakanotch.
I think I've had a couple of Lakanotches, yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
So everyone in the comments, put your Lakanotches in. We are signing out. So it's Lakanotch from me.
Lakanotch.
Lakanotch.
Lakanotch from me.
And all right, you know what? Let's make this better. Let's be professional about this.
Okay.
Let's do it in order, clockwise, please. All right, guys. Like it's the end of the show. It's a Lakanotch from me.
Lakanotch from me. Stefan, it's your
Oh, it's bath time on my screen. Oh, Lakanotch from me. Yeah, we got to do it again.
Right. We have to go again. You've got to get this rondo correct.
Are you sure? I've just got my finger on the outro. All right, it's the end of the show, guys. Take 4, take 4, take 5. It's the end of the show, guys. It's a Lakanotch from me.
Lakanotch from me.
Lakanotch from me.
It's Lakanotch from me.